Welcome to this Deep Focus Explainer session. This is a space designed specifically to strip away exam anxiety and help you calmly deconstruct one of the most vital standards in the Cambridge accounting syllabus. The difference between a B and an A star often comes down to one remarkably precise element, and that is how seamlessly you understand and apply International Accounting Standard 10, events after the reporting period. Today, we are going to act as your learning architects. We will calmly and systematically deconstruct this standard, isolating the exact theoretical architecture required by Cambridge examiners to help you secure those top marks without the stress. We're going to analyze the structure of top band responses, showing you exactly what the examiners are looking for, completely stripped of all the noise. So, take a deep breath, clear your workspace, and let's get started. Our study dashboard today provides a methodical roadmap, reducing cognitive overload by organizing this complex accounting standard into 4 calm, manageable pillars: decoding the core principles, the method flow, the examiner's mind, and finally, the evaluation polish. Section 1. Decoding the core principles, the foundation of IAS 10. Okay, let's dive into this by peeling back the filler and isolating the exact assessment objectives demanded by Cambridge. When you first open your exam paper, you are instantly confronted with complex, high-tariff questions that are deliberately filled with distracting narratives. The zen of decoding command words is learning to look right past that story. You need to identify the precise cognitive domains being tested. Successful candidates absolutely must demonstrate competent across all 3 of these distinct areas to achieve those top marks. Your baseline is knowledge. This means calmly defining, for instance, what actually constitutes an adjusting event, but simply knowing the definition isn't going to get you the A star. Next comes analysis. This is where you systematically process a scenario. For example, if the exam tells you a major customer went bankrupt right after the reporting period, you have to analyze exactly how that affects the accounts. Finally, we reach the summit, evaluation. Think of the difference between the command words analyze and evaluate. Evaluation is your ability to weigh these analyzed facts to make a final, justified judgment. A calm, structural approach to paragraph planning, perfectly balancing knowledge, analysis, and evaluation is what protects you from running out of time. Let's picture a serene, collaborative study debate between 2 high-achieving scholars. We'll call them Alex and Sam. They're working in a shared digital workspace, assembling a model response paragraph. Alex is highly analytical and incredibly precise. Alex maps out the textbook definitions step by step, pointing out a prompt involving a post-year-end fire that destroys a major factory. Alex calmly states, based on the IAS 10 definition, this is a non-adjusting event. But Sam, who is incredibly dynamic and always thinking about the broader framework, challenges this layout. Sam says, wait, we need a clear, logical, evaluative link back to the prompt. Doesn't a catastrophic fire actually threaten the going concern principle we learned in IAS 1? And this brilliantly illustrates our point. Integrating IAS 10 with other syllabus areas elevates your answer from superficial breadth to analytical depth. If that going concern assumption is no longer appropriate, IAS 10 dictates that the financial statements must be fundamentally rewritten on a breakup basis. Sam and Alex realize that connecting IAS 10 to IAS 1 perfectly fits the highest tier of the mark scheme parameters. As Alex and Sam continue to write out their sentences live, they encounter a crucial examiner alert. Candidates consistently confuse key terminology. In the heat of the exam room, when the clock is ticking, it is remarkably easy to conflate a provision with a contingent liability, or to vaguely refer to an event without classifying it strictly under IAS 10 terminology. When you fail to define your terms, the examiner literally cannot award you the foundational knowledge marks. This creates a negative cascading effect on your analysis and evaluation scores. Think of definitions as the structural anchors of your essay. Before you even begin to debate the accounting treatment of a newly discovered fraud, you must calmly write a clean, unambiguous sentence. According to IAS 10, the discovery of fraud indicating that financial statements are incorrect is an adjusting event. Once that anchor is set on your page, your subsequent arguments possess a clear, undeniable authority. Section 2. The method flow, a framework for systematic processing. Let's breathe and refocus. Before we write out our final top band paragraph structure, make sure your daily study dashboard is complete. Subscribe to Ace the Exams right now and enable all notification alerts. Whether your target is an IGCSE, an O-level, or an AS and A-level A-star, this channel is your weekly space for stress-free exam mastery. Now, let's get back to our scholars. Alex and Sam hit a structural roadblock mid-paragraph, where their evidence drops out of alignment. They are looking at a lawsuit settled after the reporting date. To restore balance, we step in with a clear visual structural framework, the Peel structure. Point, Evidence, explanation, link. First, the point, stating the settlement is an adjusting event. Next, the evidence, calmly noting the obligation existed at the reporting date. Then, the explanation, detailing how the settlement amount provides additional evidence of the liability. And finally, the link back to the question, concluding that we must adjust the provision in the financial statements. This standardized 6-step procedural framework protects you from running out of time and ensures logical, evidence-based reasoning where the vast majority of the tariff is hidden. Let's pause for a mindful focus reboot. Let's ask ourselves a critical question. Where does structural discipline typically break down for students under exam conditions? Where exactly do candidates leak marks? Let's step into our visual satisfaction practice arena. Imagine a flawed student paragraph on the screen. We need to identify the exact sentence where structural discipline breaks down. Principal examiner reports highlight these top 3 traps. The first massive trap is using the wrong approach for the context. Applying a non-adjusting treatment to an adjusting context completely derails your methodology. The second trap is presentation. It is incredibly common for students to execute the math flawlessly, but then they completely forget to present it as a formal journal entry or an updated statement of financial position, even when the command word explicitly demanded it. And the final trap? Providing a generic textbook answer that ignores the specific context. You absolutely cannot just list IAS 10 rules. You must anchor your knowledge directly to the reality of the scenario on the page to secure those marks. Section 3. The examiner's mind. Let's walk through the critical analysis steps. For our next challenge in the practice arena, let's try the mindful scan. Imagine a highly complex Cambridge source chart detailing a fall in the market value of investments after the reporting period. We have a 60-second mental countdown to extract the single most high-yielding core trend by adopting the examiner's problem-solving mindset. First, we identify the given information. Second, we break it into logical steps, determining that a fall in market value is a non-adjusting event because the decline reflects circumstances that arose after the reporting period. Third, we solve systematically by mentally preparing a disclosure note rather than altering the accounts. Fourth, we check for reasonableness. Does this align with the conceptual framework? Absolutely. Finally, we make a justified recommendation. While the accounts aren't adjusted, a disclosure is vital if the amount is material to the users of the financial statements. By following this deconstruct, solve, evaluate flow, you ensure your execution always leads logically to a top-tier answer. So the crucial point we are driving at here is the structural difference between basic execution and top-band evaluation. Basic execution applies the analytical framework. It shows you know the mechanics of IAS 10. But top-band evaluation critically evaluates the quality of your evidence. It requires a philosophical elevation. You have to step back and ask, what are the limitations of the data provided? Let's take a debtor going bankrupt after the year end. Basic execution simply writes off the debt. But top-band evaluation questions the core assumption. Did the bankruptcy stem from a sudden event, like an uninsured disaster after the year end, making it non-adjusting? Or was it the culmination of long-term insolvency that already existed at the reporting date, making it adjusting? Acknowledging this exact nuance, explicitly stating the assumption you are making, and explaining how a different interpretation would alter the financial conclusions, that is the signature of an A-star response. Section 4. The evaluation polish. Achieving the highest benchmark. As Alex and Sam view their completed, flawless response paragraph on their digital notebook, their focus meter maxes out at 100%. To get to this level, we apply our systematic recipe recap. It boils down to 3 core focus pillars. First, the 3-step question scan, where we decode the prompt. Second, the marks per minute flow formula, where we manage our timing through structured methods. And finally, the final polished review pass, which we see here. Higher order assessment objectives demand that you evaluate alternatives. Explicitly compare approaches, like the impact of adjusting versus simply disclosing. Note the effects on conclusions. For instance, failing to adjust when required would materially overstate the company's assets, misleading investors. Once you've done that, deliver a firm, justified recommendation rooted in the IAS framework. This transforms you from a student reciting facts into a junior accountant providing professional advice. An exam is merely a structured opportunity for you to showcase your methodical brilliance. Master the standard, and the grade will inevitably follow. Thank you for joining this deep focus session. Please subscribe to Ace the Exams, click the notification bell for future focus deployments, and leave a comment below right now identifying the specific subject, tier, and target grade you are currently meditating on. Keep your focus sharp, and we will see you in the next explainer.